Welcome. I'm very, very appreciative for Del Oro for being such a wonderful resource and for providing this for us. My background, my mom did pass in 2009, and she did have late onset dementia. I didn't have these tools at that time, but in 2012, I started working with dementia facilities and teaching laughter. And my background is really in education. I'm a Montessori teacher with a master's in ed, and my background's in psychology and sociology. So laughter has helped me a lot with learning how to create this sense of joy, and also to, get the serotonin and all the happy hormones rolling with people that have dementia. But when the pandemic started, we were all on Zoom, and it became really clear to me that how much caregivers who are so isolated really need to be able to have this skill. So I've been working the last couple of years trying to develop ways that caregivers could bring more laughter into their work. And I train people, and one of the people I trained is actually doing a documentary about how it saved her life. And that's how important it can be in the role that you have. So I admire you for what you're doing. There's no harder work, but there's no better work. My mom was in a situation where her partner and she kept a lot hidden from us. So by the time she was failing miserably, she wanted to stay in her home so bad that that's what happened, and that didn't work out. So she ended up in a wonderful facility, but I have so much admiration and compassion for what you all do. So I'm hoping that laughter is going to help a little bit. And I will say that what I learned as a Montessori teacher was to be a really good observer. So the things that you're going to learn today may or may not work for you, but if you're a good observer and you try things, they won't all work, but some of them will. And so I hope that you'll at least grasp a couple of things that you can use a lot for yourself, and some things we can use with those people in your care. The first half of this session is going to be a real laughter session, so you actually see what happens and feel it in your own body. And then the second half, we're going to go over some more specific exercises and some props and ways to bring laughter into your caregiving. And then we're going to have some time to network, because networking is really important. And I do lead some laughter groups. And if it's something that you feel is important, it's always possible to start a laughter group on Zoom for caregivers. So, but I wanted to tell you, the job that you do, I mean, it's hard enough, and you have COVID, you have the world, you have all these bullets flying at you every day. And what I think that laughter can be for you is kind of a self-care life vest. So if I showed up at your door and I told you that I had this caregiver life vest that I wanted to share with you, and that it was like the outside is just like strong armor, and it would repel the aggravation and stress that's constantly coming at you. But the lining, the inside, is like warm and fuzzy, and it's full of hugs and giggles, and it can help you just step back and recharge and center yourself and move on to the next task. And it's also got a special switch, a breath switch, because we're going to talk about a lot of breathing. And that when you flip that breath switch and you start to understand what the real breathing you need to do is, then you actually can stop the negative thoughts that come and go from becoming powerful emotions. And I know that when you are constantly bombarded with new situations, it's stressful. It's stressful. And those negative thoughts can turn into emotions that take over, and our dinosaur brain, right? Our old fight or flight. And it's like, oh, you just want to get away from the situation, or maybe you want to lash out, and maybe you're not being as kind or as positive that you want to be. So that's what that life vest can offer you. And it can shift your mental state so that you are in charge. And then you're better able to engage rationally in the difficult situations that constantly come your way. So what that is that's the outcome of laughter. There's a lot of info on the sheet that I gave you, but I want you to understand that as a busy caregiver, that's the outcome. That's what laughter wellness can do for you. So if I were offering this free of charge, because thanks to Del Oro, we are able to offer that, would you try it? So that's what I'm asking you to do today, to try a little bit of that. So what we're going to do is start with a couple of breaths that we have, and I'm going to teach you the first one. So our laughter wellness is based on 2 yogic breaths. The first one I'm going to demonstrate, and it's just a basic yoga pranayama deep breath. Okay, and we're going to do that. We're going to breathe in through our nose. We're going to imagine that our belly is a balloon, and we're going to fill up our belly. So we're going to breathe in through our nose, filling up our belly, filling up our chest, filling it, and then we're going to push it out our mouth. So I'd like you to imagine that this room is full of wonderful laughter bubbles. And as you breathe in, I'm demonstrating it one more time. As you breathe in, we're going to breathe them all in. And pretty soon they're coming up, and they're coming up, and they're coming up, and they're tickling and tickling. We just have to let them out. We're going to let them out with just a little giggle. So I am the kind of person that's sort of an ever-ready bunny, and people would always say to me, breathe, but no one ever told me how to breathe in a hurry. And so I always felt like, boy, I just like to kick that person and say, now you breathe, because when you're stressed out with the daily things that you have coming at you, it's like someone kicked you in the head sometimes, right? And it's not that easy for someone to tell you to breathe. But this is a tool that you can always use, and it also diffuses, the vibe around you as well. So you're putting on your life vest, but you're also helping the people around you. Right, so we're going to do our second breath, which is the laughter version of the Kapalabhati breath of fire, but we do it with ha-has. So that's very easy. You're going to put your palms together. Now, we also are using all of our acupressure points when we do this. This is an activity that has done really well for me in caregiving situations, because the rhythm, the clapping, the sound, the percussion, it can be calming, it can be distracting, it can bring you back to center when you're working with people with dementia. So we're going to try it, but we're also working all our acupressure points at the same time. So it's going to be ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Good. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. I can see you doing that. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And I forgot to mention that laughter is kindergarten for grown-ups. So when we do end our exercises, we do a little kindergarten cheer, because kids laugh all the time. They have maracas going and love it. But as we grow up, our critical mind takes over and we just don't laugh as much. So our little exercises, we do ho, ho, ha, ha, ha at the end of every exercise. And then we do very good, yay, like little kids. If your arms hurt, you don't have to put them up like that. You can just do maracas or thumbs up, but that's what we do. And basically what happens when we breathe like we're doing is we are activating our diaphragm. The diaphragm is the key to calming down our stress, our old dinosaur brain, which is our left brain. That is the key to just calming that down so we can move over to the right brain and we can be calmer, more compassionate, and think in a clear fashion. So that's all that stuff that seems really, really simple is really, really important to what we do. So the main thing that I'd like, if you only get one thing from this workshop, I would like you to come away with learning how to pump up your laughter in the morning. I do want to talk to you a little bit about serotonin. That's one of the happy hormones. Well, that's one of the happy hormones that we get from laughter. And serotonin is in our belly. It's in our digestive system. But how do we bring it up to our brain? Well, there are a lot of drugs that bring it up to our brain, but the doctor in India that started this 27 years ago believed that laughter was a way to get us those happy hormones when we need them and not have to rely on drugs. And to some extent, it really works. So what happens is when we laugh, when we exercise, meditation, effective touch, gratitude, positive thinking, and music, all those things bring that serotonin from our belly to our brain. And you know what's the amazing thing about serotonin? The amazing thing about serotonin is the more you make, the more you get, the more you share with other people. So it is so simple. And that's why in laughter, we have a phrase that the more you laugh, the more you laugh. the same about serotonin. So if you can get your serotonin going in the morning, it's going to really affect your whole day. Someone asked about Dr.
Yes, sorry, you saw the question in the chat.
Dr.
Okay, perfect.
Dr. Madan Kataria is the doctor in India that founded Laughter Yoga. You're going to get some handouts, a PDF that's 30 pages that's going to tell you a lot about it. And I believe in the email that Simone sent out today, it has a link to my website, which has lots more info. So I'm really glad that you're interested. And so what we're going to do is, as far as music, we know that music's really important in caregiving, with all kinds of caregiving, especially dementia. So I'm just going to put on something that is upbeat for me. And I forgot to ask Simone if this is going to be on YouTube or a different venue because of my music.
It's all good. So it will be on YouTube. You guys I'm going to edit out any faces that appear so everyone's privacy is maintained. So don't worry about that. And we're just using this as an internal
okay.
training.
Well, I'll use my music from my friend, my friend, the drummer for Michael Franti. I can't use that music, but I will use his music because he's given me permission. So we'll use that for our music. But anyhow, music could be something that you personally enjoy, or something the person in your care, it really triggers happy buttons for them. That's the kind of music you should put on in the morning. You can do it yourself or you can do it together. So we're going to take our ho, ho, ha, 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 and we're just going to warm up to some music. And I'm going to get that on here. You can do this in your chair. We're going to get the ho, ho, ha, ha, ha beat. You can do this in your chair. Let's start with a nice breath in. And a little stretch back. And a breath out. There we go. I'm going to get to the beat. Okay, here we go. So, ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ho. Now you can add some yoga stretches or anything you want, or you can just shake out. We got to get it out of our cells, not just our brain, but out of our cells. So let's try it. Now we're going to take a breath in. And let's just do a little stretch, warrior stretch. Bend your knee and go to the other side. Okay. Ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, 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 ha. Let's relax our shoulders. Oh, we carry so much in our shoulders, don't we? And forward. Okay, let's do a little arms. Little computer hands. And a little. Woo! Here we go. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha. You can do ho, ho, ha, ha, or ho, ho, ha, 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 whatever the music is. Shake out your arms. Shake out your hips. Woo. Shake it out of your cells, because that's where it lives. Ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ha, ha. We're going to do a little shorter version of this because we have to move on. But if you put on some music that goes on for 5 minutes and you can just do a little workout, get your breathing going with the ho, ho, ha, ha, shake it out of your body. Even meditators these days, there are all kinds of practices. Some of them realize that just sometimes sitting and meditating isn't enough to get it out of your cells. We are sitting so much, and it's just so important to just take that time to give yourself a little break. Take a little dance break as many times a day that you can. That's really going to make a difference. It just happens, and you don't have to put on yoga clothes or your calm tape or do anything. It just happens. So we're going to do a really favorite exercise of mine. We're going to pump up our smile in the morning. So we wake up and we pump up our smile. Now, this is a great one to do with the person that you're caring for. It's also a great one for yourself. It is by far the most popular exercise I've done with dementia patients because they're really good at the grumpy face in the beginning. The laughing comes a little later, but when I say make a grumpy face, it's really easy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate. You're just going to think about that you're really, really stressed and that you have a real grumpy face on, and we're going to tense up and we're going to release it. So we're going to start off, we're going to do that ha 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 breath that I taught you. It's kind of like we're pumping up our smile, but we're going to start with frustrated, grumpy faces. But first, so we're going to tense up everything, tense your arms up, tense your whole body. And then we're going to let it out to the ground. Ha, ha, ha. And to the horizon. Ha, ha, ha. And to the sky. Ha, ha, ha. And then we're going to let it go. And then each time we do it, we're going to get a little more positive. So by the third time, we're really laughing. This is a really good stress buster. It's a really good way to just get yourself going in the morning, or get you and that other person going in the morning. So I'm going to, we're going to start it together. I'm going to, on the count of 3, when the spotlight comes, when the video goes off, we're going to start that. Are we ready to turn? The amazing thing about laughter is that our brain doesn't know the difference between real and simulated laughter. So I always say, when you don't want to come to class or when you don't feel like laughing, that's when you need to laugh, because that can just flip that switch in your brain. So also our number 1 rule in laughter is don't do anything that hurts. Everything's adaptable. We always want to have less pain afterwards. We get endorphins, just like any form of exercise, and it's important to hydrate after class, because we are working on endorphins. You can be in a chair, in a walker, whatever, and you can still get these benefits. So we did pumping up our smile. I know you're very, very busy as caregivers. And I just got water all over my glasses, so I can't see, but we are going to just clean our brains out a little. This is called mental floss. It's silly, okay? And it's not anatomically correct. We're going to imagine that we have a big piece of dental floss. We're going to thread it through one ear, and then we're going to floss out all the crud in our brain, all the stress and all the past and future things that are just worrying us and taking up room in our brain. So it's going to be, I'm going to demonstrate it. It'll be ha, ha, and we get faster. Ha, 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 ha. Then it gets really fast. Ha, 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 ha. Then we're going to pull it all out. And imagine that's our critical mind that keeps us from laughing and being playful. And we're going to toss it into the recycle bin because it's recyclable dental floss, and it's going to go woo-hoo. And that's the important thing that we have to do, is toss out our critical mind when we want to laugh, because that's what holds us back. And those wheels just keep spinning. When you are working in caregiving, especially with dementia, you're going to do shorter exercises. You may have to be like an entertainer. Oh, that one didn't work. Oh, let's try this one. That's okay. That is still, it's still energizing. It can be a distraction. It's still okay. So we're going to kind of go through some of these faster. Cell phone laughter is one of my favorite because it can give you a break, and you can have a cell phone buddy who's also a caregiver, that when you just need to laugh, I have friends that call me all the time and I just hear them laughing, and I know that I just need to laugh for a minute with them and then hang up. It's that simple. You don't have to explain how bad your day is going. You just have to laugh. So we're going to pretend that we have a cell phone. It could be any kind. I'm still using an old phone here, but that's okay. So with cell phone laughter, you pick it up, and on the other end, it's the funniest joke that you've ever heard. And it's just like, sometimes you can share it with someone else. So we're going through these fast. We would normally do these a lot longer, but I just want to give you a few. So the other one that I use all the time is memory laughter. And you know how, I mean, I'm a senior, things just pop out of my mind. And memory laughter is suddenly you can't remember the thing that you were going to say or do. And so memory laughter is just like, what can you do besides laugh, right? It's just like, woo! seems to me though that when you let that, when you just switched over to the other side of your brain, usually within about 30 seconds, I remember what it is I forgot. So, and then it's like, I'm okay, I remember. And then it's like, oh. So we're gonna do that back and forth. And just a couple of times it'll be like, Okay, another one that we use a lot, and I think that, when someone is grumpy and you got back and forth, there's naughty laughter. It's like, oh, sometimes you can combine that with gibberish. It's blah, blah, blah. Arguments and gibberish are fantastic because it lets it out, but you don't say anything harmful. So that's another really good way to communicate. I use that with my partner a lot. Anyhow, so we're going to do, so naughty would just be like, and the opposite of that is forgiveness laughter. And that's a really good one when you push someone's buttons and they're agitated. Just it's not, again, the important thing with caregiving is we're not laughing at the person, and the same in all laughter yoga. We're laughing at ourselves, at our frailties, at the things that stress us. We're never laughing at another person. That's why laughter is unconditional. It's not like comedy. It's not like where we're picking on people. Okay, we're laughing as people who have problems and frailties, and we're laughing about it. So if we were going to do forgiveness laughter, that would just be and it might end with a hug. So I'm just going to run through a couple of these because our time is for this half is running out. Second half, we're going to really talk more about situations, but I wanted to do memory laughter, and just wanted to share you another one is just winding up your laughter center. If you want to have the person that you're laughing with, just kind of warm up, you can warm up your laughter center. You can, and I'm just going to go over a couple of these, so you can, I see people doing them, and then we don't have to stop and start the recording because I've got a couple more to go through. So you're going to wind up your head first, and you're just going to take a little, like you have a little key, and you're going to go ha, 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 and it starts to work. You can line up your hands. Ha, 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 ha. You can wind up your belly. Ha, 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 or your hips. You can do all those things to get your laughter center going. I'm going to cover a little more specific laughter in the second part of this, as far as daily routines, but I wanted to get to the rest of this class. So what we do after we do our laughter exercises, we do this great thing called laughter meditation. Okay, laughter meditation is just 2 minutes of giggling, but I think we're just going to do a minute for today. And I'm going to get and what we're going to do is we're going to start with, we're not going to do it yet, so we can, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm just going to get the timer on here for we're only going to do 1 minute. 2 minutes is really great. And sometimes in your day, someone just says something funny or so ridiculous that you end up laughing. And we do that a lot at home. It's usually at night and we can't stop laughing. And it's a really, really good release. So we're going to start with silent laughter. I'm going to demonstrate it. And this whole part, once we start the laughter, we'll stop the recording. Silent laughter is the hardest kind of laughter, actually, because you're not using your sound, you're using your body. And most of us don't laugh with our body. So it's a really good practice. So for silent laughter, we're just going to take a breath in and we're just going to laugh without sound, using our body. So we're going to do that for the first half of our giggle meditation. And then the second half, when I start laughing, we're just going to laugh and let it out. Now, this is where you see that laughter is contagious. Laughter, when you hear laughter, when you hear babies laugh, when you hear other people laugh, it's contagious. And the cat likes it too, evidently. So you are just really, really setting yourself up for a giggle meditation where the actual connection and contagious nature of laughter really shows. So now we're going to just go to our winding down. And winding down is what we call grounding. This is another great way that you can, I think I'm just going to do it without music. It's another great way you can put on music and you can calm yourself. What this does is we've had a lot of energy and we've been really active. We want to get our breath dip back and our we just want to ground ourselves and calm ourselves down. This is a really good technique to use with some favorite music during a restless period or a wandering period with the person in your care. And again, favorite music, we'll talk about that in the second part, but music is a real important way to get that serotonin up to the brain. So I'm just going to show you this. I usually do some drumming, but we're short on time. So this is just real simple. We take our ho, ho breath out to the front and grounding with the ha, ha. So it's ho, ho, ha, ha. Good. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha. If you put on the right music, you can turn it into a little dance like ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha. I like to use African and Indian drumming, but anything that you are familiar with or that the person in your care likes, that's just a great winding down. So what we're going to do now is our total body relaxation. So I want you all to just be comfortable, just settle down in your chair. This is a really important part of laughter. It's a wonderful thing that you can do when you're taking a little rest or when you're going to sleep, but allowing our whole body to just relax and feel the benefits of laughter. Laughter does boost our immune system over time. It's not one session. If it becomes a practice, then that is one of the things that it can do. But we also need to kind of give ourselves a little rest and sort of let it all sink in. So I'm going to put a little bit of my relaxing music on for you right now. And since we're recording, I'm going to not put the music on so that we can keep doing this. So just get yourself in a very comfortable position. We're going to be aware of our body, and we will end this with a little meditation, and then we'll go on to our second part. So we're going to just focus with your feet on the ground, and remember that wherever you are, you gain strength from the earth. And just bring your attention to your toes. You've had this life jacket, this laughter life jacket on, and you've just landed on a beautiful beach. And just imagine putting your toes in the warm sand and letting them soften. Feel the balls of your feet and the heels of your feet just soften in the sand. And just try to be aware of your feet and how they feel right now. Just soft and clay-like. And move that relaxing feeling up to your ankles. We're just going to check in on our body after laughter. That's all we're going to focus on. Bring that warm feeling that from the sand all the way up to your calves. Let your knees soften. Let your thighs soften. Let your hips and your buttocks just soften in your chair. Imagine your organs in your core, your belly, all the breathing we've been doing. Just soften your belly, soften your lungs, your diaphragm, your solar plexus, all the things we've been working out so hard with laughter. It's hard to believe, but we've had a great workout, and you can feel that when you stop. So we're going to just move to our shoulders, which carry so much stress, and just soften our shoulders. And from our shoulders to our forearms, just let your arms feel soft and clay-like. From your forearms to your wrists, and let that warm, relaxing feeling flow down your hands to each finger. And now imagine that your arms and legs are just beautiful streamers on a kite, just floating above the beach on the sky. Nowhere to go in this moment, nothing that you have to do. And very, very, very gently, we're going to move to our neck where we hold so much stress. We'll move it forward And pay attention as we move it back to the left, a little bit to the right. Try to just relax our neck a little and be aware. We're going to move to our face that's been doing so much laughter. We're going to soften our mouth, soften your jaw. We hold so much tension in our jaw. Soften your jaw. Imagine that you could soften your teeth and your gums and your tongue and your lips. Soften your cheekbones. Soften your eye sockets and your eyelids, your eyebrows. And moving to your forehead, imagine just smoothing out all those worry lines like a nice little rake in the sand. And then we're going to move to the very, very top of our head. And just imagine there's a big zipper on the top of our head. And just for this moment, for just about a minute, we're going to just let all our thoughts of the past and the future just float out of our head up into the clear blue sky. And that clear blue sky is just this present moment. And let's be grateful for this present moment where our body and our mind have been relaxed together. Be grateful that you have taken the time to care enough for yourself to see what that feels like. It feels really good. And while our eyes are closed and we're relaxed, we're going to just take just a minute before we go into our meditation to just clear your mind and breathe. If you can focus on the breath coming into your nose, maybe it feels cool, and then exiting from your lips. And let's just take a few breaths, maybe 20, to just clear our mind and focus only on our breathing. So let's go. Now, still keep your eyes closed. We're going to do a loving kindness meditation, but I hope that maybe you are able to experience that when we do, laughter wellness is a form of yoga because it gives us those gamma rays in a quick way to help us be more compassionate and to help us be mindful and to not let our emotions take over our mind and our judgment. And for that, I am very grateful to have been practicing and learning this for so long because it really does work. We're going to imagine that we're in a room right now. Just keep your eyes closed and imagine that everyone in the world is sitting in front of you in this room. The people that we love so much. Imagine all the people that you love and smile with those people, past and present. And all the people that are so challenging and annoying in our lives. It's harder, but let's imagine smiling with those people as well, because those people are our teachers. Those people show us things that perhaps we are annoyed with in ourselves, or they show us things that maybe we need to change in our lives or in the world. So we need to be grateful for those people that make us so uncomfortable, because they are our teachers. And finally, we're going to imagine everyone in the whole world sitting in that room, people we like, people we don't like, people we don't even know. And obviously the world needs a lot of good vibes right now. And we're just going to smile with all those people. And as we do that, we're going to do the following meditation. May you be safe from inner and outer harm. May you be free from guilt, shame, and hatred. May you enjoy physical and mental well-being. May you live with the ease of an open heart. May you be awakened to your true nature, which is an inexhaustible source of love, compassion, and wisdom. May you express loving kindness toward each other so that war, conflict, and every form of strife come to an end, allowing peace and harmony to pervade the entire world. And let's just have a little giggle for world peace and world vibration. And let's begin to wake up our toes and wake up our legs and shake out in our seat and wake up our buttocks and our hips and our belly and our arms and our face and shake it all out. Woo, you've done a really, really, really good job. And we still have a little bit more to go. We'll take a little bit of a breathing break. And I forgot to teach you our Namaste that we have everyone on the screen, but Namaste is just how we greet each other instead of Namaste. Namaste is just, I honor the joy and laughter in you. And that's all. And when we do real classes, we just go up to everybody and go. And if you're on a Zoom meeting, it's the greatest way to end or start a Zoom meeting, just with eye contact. Experimenting is really important. You may try something and it may not work, and that's okay. Do your forgiveness laughter to yourself. It's okay. Not everything is going to work, but the important thing is that you're experimenting and observing. The situations that I think we need to be aware of, and I'm sure most of you know all this, but when we're laughing with someone, the field of vision, knowing whether that person has problems with peripheral vision, if they need you to be up close, you want to be in the right line of vision, how they respond to touch. And again, these are easy things for you because you're in a one-to-one caregiving situation. So it's not like you're working with a group. Gesturing, I don't know if any of you know Teepa Snow's work, but hand under hand. If you want to do some rhythms or you want to do some tapping or clapping, holding that person's hand and helping them can actually make a big, big difference because sometimes they physically can't do that. And I've seen that in dance classes when we do dancing in Hawaii, and people that have someone help them move, it's just the joy is amazing because they actually can't do the movement. So being aware of that, being aware of their dominant side, approaching on the dominant side is always important. Emphasize laughing at ourselves or things and not the individual. And it is going to take some trial and error. And if you ever offend someone, you've got your forgiveness laughter, right? We learned that. So, I'm honing in on especially the way to diffuse restlessness and agitation and wandering. We're going to thinking about exercises that you can use for that, because it's very much like preschool. When we get to that other side of our brain and the emotions that are in our dinosaur brain, when we can switch them off with laughter, then you can diffuse a lot of situations. It may involve you being more of an entertainer, yourself and always coming up, but that's fun. You don't have, that puts a little fun and a little creativity into your daily activities. So it does take a little creativity. We're going to talk about movement and rhythm and props. I think using favorite songs that they remember, maybe it's a theme song to a TV show, maybe it's some songs that they remember from their youth. That's a really good way to add music for you together. Photos. I was again, we use a lot of flashcards, in Montessori, and, having big pictures or things that you can remind them and make a laughter exercise. Like, remember that time when Uncle Jim dove into the water and his trunks fell off? You can come up with things from your personal family history that can help you with laughter. We're going to go into some memory and some rhythm things. I want to really do rhythm, but one thing I'm going to put on for you right now is we can turn any song that someone likes into a ho ho ha 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 song. So let's just say we were doing some dressing. Let me get back to my music here. Let's see, we're doing dressing time, and I just got an invitation. I'm a big Fred Astaire fan. But what if we were getting dressed in the morning and putting a top out as the hair, you know, we're putting on our sweater to some cool music that somebody remembers, and we're buttoning, ha, ha, ha. And it could just be, you know, it could be a giggle exercise. Putting on the top, ha, and we can do it, ha, 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 ha. Oh, buttons. And so you can take any kind of fun music that you have a connection with and turn it into a ha-ha. So you're getting the breath, you're getting the benefit of the music, and all those things are working to bring that serotonin up to the brain. Silly memories, you know, family members, any, you know, I know that my mom would always go back in time to things, and I would roll with that. And if that gives you something to roll with to create fun, happy memories, that's great. That's great. So I have a couple of, now let's just say, oh, okay, we got medicine. Now I'm not sure if most of you have, where's my laughter cream? Okay, I have a big box of stuff here. Okay, so let's say we have some skin medicine to put on. Laughter cream is another exercise. You put a little laughter cream on, and wherever you put it on, it makes you laugh. It can be real or imaginary, but yes, laughter cream. Oh my gosh. Oh, the thing about touch too, you know, most of my clients that respond so well to touch, this was always, back in the day when you could be near people, this was a wonderful exercise because the touch is so important. And that's what's so hard. And that's why what you are doing is so valuable, because you are there with these people and they're not somewhere where they aren't getting these things on a, you know, on a daily basis. And so I'm just over the moon grateful for the work that you do. So that's one thing. What about pills? Oh my gosh, do we have medicine that we have to make, or pills? Now, this is my little guy who's available on Amazon. Now, props, if props aren't too juvenile, if they work, when you hear a baby laughing, it's hard not to laugh. Some of my props got taken a lot and cuddled a lot, but let's just say, okay, are you going to be quiet? Okay, let's just say we're doing some medicine. Okay, so we have some, we got to get the pill bottle open. It's like, woo, I got it open. So maybe it's a pill, or maybe it's just, let's say it's just, we got it open. It's pill time. Maybe a laughter tool, maybe a little laughter tool will be a way to remember that it's pill time, okay? Or maybe it's liquid medicine. And what if it's liquid medicine and we're going to pour it out and we have to give it and maybe it tastes really awful. Well, then it's just like, but we did it, yay! Or maybe it tastes really, really good. Or maybe a meal tastes really, really good. So there's all kinds of exercises like a little laughter snack. Some people, you know, in some stages of dementia, we're dealing with a more slapstick brain. So some of these things, they might seem silly to you, but they might work. They might not. And that's your job as an observer, you know, to figure that out. I can't guarantee, you know, we already said that the rocking chair, you know, is a very good calming exercise. I want to show you a few other props that I have. Oh, many, many ways to do laughing now. Whoops, I'm going to get my drum out here. Tapping. the EFT, which is a tapping approach, which you can look up. Some of you might be familiar with it. You can look that up on any YouTube. It's called EFT tapping, and you're tapping the meridians of your body. And that's another good way to do ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, 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 because tapping has been proven to reduce stress. You can combine that with laughter and music and make it more fun. And that's another great way. I really find that percussion is an amazing way because we're not sure about the hand coordination or whatever, but this is just my little drum, my little mini cajon, and you can do ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. I had many people that responded to the tapping of the instruments in my classes, and it took months for anything else to kick in. And I had one woman who was always tapping on her hands, and I finally said, "Did you play piano?" And it turned out that she did. So you may not have hysteric laughter, but you need to notice, is there a head nod? Is there some, rhythm going on? All those things will make a difference. Now, percussion is great. Some of my favorite classes were when we did Mexico and maracas, ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Something that's not going to break or that's going to be safe. So that's one way. Now, I had a client who had such severe PTSD from war trauma that she would always try to attack the person that was her caregiver. So she came up with these because they're soft, and you can still do some ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. So that's another way to get the rhythm in. Sometimes during times of frustration, like in our laughter classes, we often have snowball fights or food fights. What about a little softball and and just back and forth, just throwing a whole bunch of little softballs, having a fake snowball fight. So things like that, you have what in your toolbox. Bubble wrap is another way you can laugh with the bubble wrap. This is too small, but as you crunch them, the bigger ones make a sound and you can giggle with them. These are great distractions to get that breathing going on. Also, and again, this is Snoopy, my laughter dog. Let's see, is he gonna laugh? I have to turn him off at night because he scares me in the middle of the night when he laughs, but right. And for people that can't laugh, sometimes when people just couldn't laugh, I'm like, oh, okay, well then let Snoopy laugh for you. There are a lot of these toys out there, and if they're not really juvenile, he still makes me laugh. He has been clutched and hugged, and I have this one client who was I think she was 101, and she'd worked for See's Candy. Her grip was like really. And when she would get Snoopy, the only way I could get him back was to give her, they had candy. They had backup candy. That was the only way I could get him back. But there are a lot of laughter exercises too that involve tactile and touch. Oh, also I forgot bells. Yeah, bells are great. Holiday time bells, that was always a favorite class. People get the rhythm, they get the sensory, really important. And you can put ha-has and music and all that to bells, and there's all kinds depending on their fine motor coordination. You can get bigger things that they can handle. And then the last thing I wanted to tell you is, yes, you are an entertainer. You may sometimes have to be a cheerleader, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be silly. It's okay to be entertaining. And and maybe you can have a little cheer. Oh, it's medicine time, and make up a little cheer. Make up a little cheer for the hardest parts of your day and see if it works. I can't, we can discuss when we turn the recording off some individual situations, but I just wanted you to see how. And the thing is, when you have fun with it, you're having fun. Your serotonin is getting boosted, right? You're mirroring a lot more positivity, a lot less stress, and it's the vibration that really, means a lot. And again, one thing I learned working with dementia patients is that there are some people that automatically have joy built into their system. They just are. I've had people that, it's Groundhog Day for them every 2 minutes, but they are happy no matter what they're doing. Their past memories are happy. Their future memories are happy. And I walk into a place and I could just see, like, within 10 minutes who those people are. The other end of the spectrum are people who've had trauma, and when they get into dementia, then they get traumatic and angry, and there's those people too. My job for the last 10 years has been trying to teach younger people to embrace this power that we have for laughter, so that when we do get to that point, maybe we'll be those joyful people, right? Because it's you can see that in someone's nature, but it's never too late there. And I will challenge you, there's a 30-day laughter challenge, and if you practice every day for 30 days, you will really see an improvement. And ideally we like to laugh for 10 or 15 minutes a day, but it doesn't have to be through laughter exercise. It could be a TV show, it could be anything. If they love old slapstick or favorite TV shows, put those on and laugh. And when something's funny, keep the laughter going, keep the giggles going. Do some acupressure. There's so many things that you can find, and in a way you're the creator here. You are all creators of how you're going to add this into your experience. And I see some nods, and you're not always going to be right, and there'll be things that just don't work, and that's okay. I had that in every class because there'd always be a few people, but boy, I had some amazing music. I can't tell you enough how important music and movement are, because I can't show the recording, but I had a group that two women that were low functioning, and one was never, was always tired and grumpy, and the other one never always looked down, didn't want to be touched. And again, when I'm working with a group, I have to offer if someone wants to be touched. You know more about that, but not everyone wants you to come close. Not everyone wants to touch. We did a lot of double high fives. If you can touch the person you're with, you put on some ho ho ha ha music and double high five. That was like the high point, because people want the touch. The eye contact, the connection. It's so important. Laughter that involves hugging, oh, I'm so excited to see you. Good morning, good morning. Oh, all of that is wonderful. Unfortunately, I can't do all that stuff now. And that's why I'm really excited to be able to share some things with caregivers. So I thought we would go into a little bit of, I was trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, so I was telling you the story about these two people. Well, I do Hawaii as one of my favorite classes, and I use all these flashcards, and we have the beach, and we have the dolphins, and these are good ways to trigger good memories. But the one that everyone, especially all the gentlemen, liked was my hula dancers. And we always did a little hula, the Hukilau song, because I know that. I was a preschool teacher. I know all the moves. Well, it happened that one of these women was from Hawaii. And as soon as I started, doing the Hukilau song and the moves, she's like, got up and just started teaching us all how to dance. And she told me my fingers should not be far apart, and everyone would think I was stupid because my fingers were right. And I'm like, well, show us. And so she got up, and then every time we did that, which was pretty much most of the time because she loved it, she would go up and demonstrate. Then the other woman who never wanted to be touched, who never looked you in the eye, who would always look down when I came by, she got up and started doing the hula with her. And they went around to everyone in the circle, and they were the dancers. And fortunately, the person that knew the hula didn't correct her hands, only mine. So it worked out really well. But to see that, and she was smiling for the first time. And after class, I went over to her and I said, you have such a beautiful smile. I'm just so moved. I want to hug you. May I hug you? And she's like, well, yes, but you cannot touch this hand because Harold is here. And that was her husband. And it was like amazing. It was like a Kleenex moment, because this had come out through laughter and through movement. No one in the facility even knew that story, and she'd been there 2 years. So that's the kind of stuff that can happen. And I hope things like that will happen for you.